everybody. Randy Patterson here with Boomerocity. And before I talk about this week's episode, let me just speak to the blinding glimpse of the obvious. And there is kind of a pun intended. And you'll know what I'm talking about once I shut up and tell you. As you notice, I'm wearing glasses. If I didn't have the glasses, you would see a little black eye shiner, a little bloodshot looking stuff. No, I did not lose in a bar fight. In fact, I was not even in a bar fight, even though I look like it. Had a detached retina happen last week, and I had to undergo emergency surgery, and I'm in the process of healing. So I'm wearing glasses to kind of try to disguise it, but a lot of good it does if I'm telling you all about it anyway, but I like to keep it real, folks. So in this week's episode, I'm introducing someone to you that you may not heard of unless you're down in the Baton Rouge area of Louisiana. But you know how we love the blues here at Boomerocity. And man, when I got this guy's album shot over to me, I fell in love with it right away. I'm talking about Jonathon Boogie Long. And he has a brand new album called Courage in the Chaos. And man, this stuff is top shelf. Blues, rock and roll, R&B, the whole kit and caboodle, man. And you are going to love it if you love those kinds of sounds. I do, so I unashamedly tout it to you. And I think you're really going to love this guy's spirit and attitude. He clicked in from Louisiana, and we had a nice little chat about his background, his history, and this album. As always, I ask that while you're listening to it, go ahead and hit like if you're enjoying what you're hearing. If you're not already a subscriber, please hit subscribe. It's free. I'm not going to charge you anything for it. And also, please share the interview with any of your friends who you think might enjoy this kind of interview about this kind of music. So without any further ado, here is my first of what I hope are many more interviews to come with Boogie Long. Until next time, this is Randy Patterson with Boomerocity. Take care.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
I sure can. I'm trying to keep my volume low on this side so there's not an echo. Do you have an echo?
Not at all.
Okay, awesome.
So, good deal. Well,
Right.
do you like to go by Boogie or by Jonathan or John
Boogie is
or
fine.
something else? Boogie
We're
is
back.
fine. Okay.
We're back to the boogie.
All right. Good deal. Where are you clicking in from?
Hammond, Louisiana.
All right. Very cool. Now, I don't know the Louisiana terrain like I probably should, but where would that be in proximity to a major
It's
city or
about
town?
it's about 35 or 40 minutes from Baton Rouge, and it's about an hour from New Orleans.
Oh, okay.
So
All right.
kind of
Good
like
deal.
right in the middle.
I see. I see. Well, good deal. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much for taking the time to jump on this call. I don't know if John told you I normally don't wear glasses, and but I had emergency eye surgery last week, so I
Oh no.
put the glasses on just kind of disguise the fact that I look a little beat up. So
Well, that's all right. I'm
I-
glad you made it through. Okay.
yeah. Well, so far so good. I can't. It was the detached retina of all things, so I
Oh
was
wow.
either
Yeah,
get the
yeah.
surgery or go blind, and it was so I did the surgery. So it was all of a sudden. But anyway, thanks so much for taking the time to jump in and have this call. I'm embarrassed to say that I've only recently discovered you, so I love your sound. I love this album, and before we get into that album, tell my viewers and others that a little bit about yourself, your background, and how you got to this point.
Well, I'm Jonathan Boogie Long, like we said. I've been playing music, since I was a kid, since I was like 6 or 7. Grew up in like a church background. My grandfather played music. My parents used to sing gospel and stuff, and so I grew up playing kind of like or playing gospel music with my family, and um, got my first gig at 11. I dropped out of high school when I was 14. Went on tour with a reggae band playing
Wow.
bass, and then yeah, I mean, I just I grew up, around that same time I started going to the blues jams and stuff. So I was hanging out with like Kenny Neal, Larry Garner, Little Ray Neal, pretty much the whole Neal family. And just Rudy Richard, James Johnson that played on Slim Harpo's record, like so many of those like just Southern Baton Rouge blues guys. I was hanging around and that's the sound. That was the sound, man. That was that just it almost gave me like a way to express myself. It was
Hmm.
just a positive way to express myself that I really took to. You know, so I mean, I had the chance to play with a lot of people. I played with Big Luther Kent for many years, almost 20 years. He's one of the best blues singers that ever lived. Toured with B.B. King in 2013, did 15 shows with
Wow.
him, and won Guitar Center's King of the Blues. It's been a crazy thing. I mean, every kind of thing that you go through is a pivotal moment to wind up right here where we are
Yep.
today, So, I mean,
One
it's
thing
just
leads to another, doesn't it?
that's it. And it's just crazy. Uh, I used to say that a lot of things in the blues world would come against me, but now it looks like things are looking up. So we'll see,
Well, good. Good deal.
So we'll see what happens.
Well, like I said, I love your sound. If you don't mind me asking, which church background did you come from? Because I grew up in one too. So,
I like to say non-denominational, but it was like a full gospel.
okay.
My grandfather was a fire and brimstone preacher, if that makes any sense. So
Oh, that's what I
yeah.
grew up in, man.
Yeah, so
So,
that's what I grew up on too. So
so
yeah, my parents were much more lenient on me than they were my brother and sister. I was the youngest
oh,
child.
ah,
So I was the little hellion at the end, I guess. But they gave me they they more so let me make my own decisions than they did for them. I mean,
yeah,
they couldn't
yeah.
even listen to Petra, which was a Christian rock band. I mean, so it was
Syncopated
like
rhythms, man. Swaggart told us it was wrong.
that's
So,
right, exactly. Yeah, man. Yes.
well, I grew up in the Church of God based in Cleveland, Tennessee. So, third or fourth generation in it. But my family, we moved out to Arizona, so it was a lot less, in some ways, a lot less stringent.
Hmm.
But I mean, couldn't go to movies though, and the syncopated rhythm thing. It wasn't so much that as it was just rock and roll. Except when I was in eighth grade, my mom let me go see Elvis Presley on Easter Sunday. I mean,
Wow.
yeah, I mean, did hell split wide open or what on that day?
Yeah, I know,
But
right?
and I got to meet the Colonel there, so
Yeah.
I say that's my first celebrity interview. But
Don't watch those gyrating hips.
that's right. Might have led to my disconnected retina here. So,
Right, you never know.
so do you feel? I mean, everybody says something different here, but for you personally, do you feel that the folk gospel background? I mean, it affected Elvis. He was R&B a lot of times, very much blues, very much country. Jimmy Vaughn says blues kind of comes from country, or vice versa. For you, what? How did your church background
Everything.
affect your music? Everything?
Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. It affected everything. I think like I think more like a god like a black gospel singer. I think more
Mm-hmm.
like a black gospel singer than I do like a guitar player. Like when it
Mm.
comes to licks. Like my phrasing is more like from a singer standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, because that's what I liked growing up. Like I didn't really. I mean, I listened to yeah, I listened to Stevie Ray and Hendrix. My brother had all the records and stuff, but what I was really listening to mostly was like the Clark sisters
Mm.
and Rance Allen and Daryl Cooley and out of the gospel world would be like Frankie Beverly and Mays and Jill Scott, Jill Scott's live band, live in Washington D.C., and the Aquarium Rescue Unit, which is like a fusion jam band. So I
Mm-hmm.
grew up on my favorite bands were black gospel artists and jam bands,
Wow.
like fusion bands.
Yeah.
Now I loved
Yeah.
rock. I mean, not rock. I loved blues, obviously too. I mean, I grew up on all the traditional blues stuff too, but I was more into the indie guys playing it. Like I was more into Sean Costello, and I was more
Mm-hmm.
into Michael Burks, and like those kind of cats as opposed to the mainstream guys,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't
Mm-hmm.
really have a lot of Muddy Waters albums. I wasn't really listening to Lightning Hopkins. I wasn't really listening to, I mean, I did listen to the Kings, all the Kings, but uh some of them other blues artists that you would think that I didn't really deep dive into that. I kind of
Mm-hmm.
have more of like a gumbo of sounds that's incredibly deeply rooted in traditional blues because
Yeah.
if somebody came to me and they um, put me in a situation to where I had to do what they said, and they said, you got to do what you're best at, I'm going to play traditional blues because I feel
Mm-hmm.
like I do that as strong as anybody in the world, but
Mm-hmm.
I still feel like um, I kind of write cross genre because that's how I feel. I feel
Mm-hmm.
a lot of different stuff. So
Yep.
I don't know.
Yep.
I never did like to be pigeonholed, as they call it. But I also like, I want people to understand that I have a strong, not just appreciation, but like a lifelong bond and to the blues. Because
Yeah.
I promised BB King I was going to play the blues for the rest of my life. I promised him. I said, hey, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. And he said, I would greatly appreciate if you did that. I would love it if you did that.
And
And I
carry the
mean,
mantle.
once you
Yeah.
tell the king that, then you can't go back on it. I mean,
That's right.
so
That's right. Well, you mentioned Kenny Neal, man. I love Kenny Neal. I've had the privilege of interviewing him, and I keep threatening to go down to his little I don't know what you'd call it, a little food and venue compound type thing that he's got going there.
yeah,
And he walked me around on one of the interviews and had his iPhone going, showing me his sisters and friends cooking back in the kitchen and all that. I mean, it was great, man. I just want to go down there and hang out, eat some of that good home cooking, and listen to some good blues.
yeah. Well, that's the place to do it, man. Kenny knows what's up. He's uh he's been at it a long time, and he's the Neils are like family to me. I mean, they treat me like family. Whenever I see them, it's like a family reunion. I know them all. Larry,
Yeah.
Darnell, Kenny, Little Ray. I knew Rayful Neal before he passed away. I knew Jackie Neal before she passed away. I knew them
Wow.
all. So that's who I grew up with. I mean, I grew up with them. I played um they have a nephew named Tyree Neal, and I played
Hmm.
in Tyree's band when I was 16 years old. So I mean, so 21 years ago I played in his band. So I mean,
My goodness.
I've been
Wow.
doing it. I've been doing it a while.
So you think you might like this, huh?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's safe to say that I'm in it for life. I'm
Okay.
in it. I'm in it regardless of anything else. We'll just say that.
Sounds good. Well, tell me about this album. What led up to its creation? How long did it take you to put it together? That kind of thing.
Well, we had a couple hurdles in the middle of it. I guess I'll get to that. So my friend, I was doing a record. I was recording it at my drummer studio, and we it was coming along good. And I was showing it to a friend of mine. He said, "Hey man," he says, Jim Odom, who's been a friend of mine my whole life, but he says, you know, he wants to produce a record on you." And my friend Jim is a very influential guy. He owned a company called Presonus. He eventually sold Presonus to Fender Guitars. Um, and so I hit Jim up, or Tracy hit Jim up for my buddy, and he said, "Hey man, Boogie said he'd be down to produce a record, have you produce a record." And Jim said, "Man, let's do it. Let's make it happen." So we had dinner, lunch or whatever a couple times and talked about it and made a plan. And I guess from that moment to the moment like we had the first lunch to the it was done was probably about a year, just a touch over a year. But Jim had open heart surgery in the middle of that.
Whoa.
So he had five bypass surgery. Is it quintuplet or is it whatever
Yeah.
the word is? Uh,
Whatever for
he
five, it's a
had
lot.
whichever for five. Yeah, he had that, and so he had to undergo that right in the middle of the whole deal, and
Wow.
we still were able to finish and get it done, and
Hmm.
it's just crazy, like. Uh, so it's a lot of songs. I mean, I wrote them. I wrote a lot of songs over the years, songs like Insanity and Lipstick. I mean, I've been working on those for a few, for a while. And some of them are songs that I just wrote because we needed those kind of songs for the project, like A Fool Can See. It was like we need another fast, like rocking kind of song, and so I just wrote it. I mean,
Hmm.
some stuff kind of writes itself, and then other stuff it takes you a while to work on, but Jim helped me find a solid collection of songs and kind of helped me polish them up and just get them ready. And you know, he spared no expense on the record. I mean, literally, we hired some of the greatest musicians in Louisiana. We hired one of the greatest mix engineers in the country. I mean, just everything, and it shows because
Hmm.
the feedback has been nothing but positive. Everybody's been saying, "Man, sonically, this record is amazing." Um, just the feel, the groove, I'm extremely happy. Every record I say, well, there's something that we could have done better. There's something that you think that at every record, but man, I'm not, on this one I'm not sure if we could have done anything better. I'm not sure if we could
Hmm.
have presented the tunes any better. Maybe recorded them a different way, but we presented them exactly how they should be presented, and I'm extremely happy with the finished product.
How many
So
albums does this make for you solo wise?
number five,
Number five. All right,
yeah.
that's what I thought. And then of course you've sat in on others. By the way, I'm going to get a little distracted here. Is that a picture of you and BB behind you?
It is, yeah. That's me and BB King in April of 2013. Yeah.
Wow,
Mm-hmm.
very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool.
I got
Love it.
Billy Gibbons back there somewhere too.
Oh yeah, how
Me and
neat.
Billy Gibbons, yeah. Good.
And well, in the making of this album, I know artists. I'm not a musician. I don't sing except in the shower, I guess, or in the car. But not even in the shower. It's a little too close for me. But they're artists go into the studio and they have certain expectations, but invariably it always seems that there's, I don't know, surprises, something go a little differently. Maybe the song completely changes from what the concept was when it was written, that kind of thing. Were there any of those kinds of surprises for you when you went in and started
It was
working on this album?
it wasn't a surprise. Like by the time we got to the studio, it wasn't a surprise. But like when I went in initially, I would play the song, you know, and I always have like a tendency of overwriting things. Like I'll always put too much and so Jim kind of helped me dial it in and kind of reel it back into to the meat and potatoes, the strongest
Yeah.
parts of the song, instead of letting me get too Herbie Hancock. You know what I mean? He would reel it back in and let me, and kind of help me bring it back together. And most of the songs had some of that kind of feeling or influence rather
Mm-hmm.
from him. Me and him kind of just polished stuff up. So um, most of them had the attention to detail that you're talking about, as far as they were written one way, and then we went in and kind of recorded them a completely different way, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So a lot of them are different, you know. A couple of them had verses that ain't even in there anymore. I mean, just stuff like that, where it's like you
Yeah.
change up sections or you take out a verse and add a bridge section, or just Sometimes you restructure the whole thing. Like, man, this groove on this thing is like too crazy. I mean, let's groove it, a whole different way. And
Mm-hmm.
um, so you never know. I mean, you never know what the right or wrong thing to do is. I mean, all you can do is throw it at the wall and see if it sticks, you know?
See what sticks. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, that's really all you can do is take a chance, you know? I always say I write, like, when it comes to the songs that we pick to record. I try to put a little something for everybody on there, you know? I try to have something that everybody can enjoy because that's how music is consumed now. It's not about the whole record. It's not about Pink Floyd The Wall anymore. They're going to find
Mm-hmm.
one or two songs that they like by you. If you're lucky, those songs are going to wind up on one of their playlists.
Yep.
And then that's
Yep.
how they consume music now.
Yep.
So all I'm
It's
trying to do
short
is
attention spans too.
right, and all I'm
Yeah.
trying to do is hope to wind up on that playlist.
Mm-hmm.
There's people like you and certain other people. You're gonna listen to the whole record, but a lot of people ain't even worried about the whole record. They might hear that one song that they like and go, "Okay, that's my Boogie Long song," or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
So I mean, you gotta.
Yep.
I try to keep that in mind,
Yep.
because you can't please everybody, but you can show people like. One thing that I get that people say a lot to me is, I never really liked the blues, but I like your blues. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? So I like
Interesting.
so I'll take that. I'll
Yeah.
take that because it's a it's still an introduction.
Yeah.
It's still an introduction. Maybe we'll never get them to listen to a full BB King record, but I mean, it's a start. So.
Well, what I find, even with me, I'll have an album for years. And just like you described, I'll zero in on one or two songs. I'm too
Mhm.
lazy to make a playlist. I'll just go, click over to the songs on there, have it figured out, two more bumps, and I'm over to my other favorite song, and I'm off and running. But then, years later, it's like a friend of mine gave me a Joe Bonamassa album. I had that sucker for years, and I was just stuck on Mountain Time. And
Oh
then,
God, I love
you know,
listen. I love Mountain Time too. It's a great song.
yeah, it's like my short list of favorite Bonamassa songs, especially. But it was years later before I started listening to the rest of the record.
Hmm.
And I was like, well, dang it, boy, you should have been listening to it all along,
All of it, yeah. He's got Woke Up Dreaming, and he's got
Yeah, yep.
all kinds of great stuff on that record, man.
I'm going to see him
Yeah.
tomorrow night here in Knoxville. So,
Oh, nice. Yeah,
yeah,
I like Joe. He's a good
yeah,
guy.
good guy. So I used to ask what would be the calling card on a record. And so I'm going to ask you a little bit different. Chris Stamey said he referred to it as the gateway drug, but
Mm.
I'm going to ask it in a two-part way. Which song would you point to as the gateway drug for this album? And then backing up a little bit to all five albums, maybe which song from your whole body of solo work would you point to and say one of these two, if you like these songs, you're really going to love my work, and maybe listen to the whole album.
So I think like a good kind of indicator of who I am is on this record. I would point people to A Fool Can See, which
Mm-hmm.
is my
Mm-hmm.
blues rock, my wild side, and I would point people to Insanity.
Yeah.
The song Insanity because that's my R&B eclectic like, you know, different textures and it goes different places. There's different moments and how it's got the art. It's got a very kind of adult contemporary start, and then it goes into like an R&B section, and then it breaks down into classically kind of flamenco guitar.
Mm-hmm.
uh it's kind of like a roller coaster,
Mm-hmm.
and that's I don't know. That's kind of like it's kind of like what my career has been, a roller coaster. So if they want to know about my five records, then Insanity kind of wraps it up. So uh so yeah, that's there's a lot of good songs out there, man. As uh there's a couple good songs on each record. There's filler songs on each record, and there's good ones. Drinking Through is a great song. I never knew. You never know what songs people are gonna like really take to.
Mm-hmm.
Like the song Tomorrow on this record. I kind of considered that like a filler tune, but also kind of like a show opener. And it's been several people's favorite song on there. And I never in a million years would have thought that that'd be anybody's favorite song. But it's just the
Mm-hmm.
groove to it. It's just got a groove that kind of makes you want to move. And
Yeah.
it's, I mean, you can't decide for people. You got to let
No.
people decide for themselves. So all you can do
Let it roll, man.
is
Just let it
exactly
roll.
like I said,
What
throw it at the wall and see if it sticks.
what and so you kind of just touched on it, but I mean, in addition to that song, I mean, obviously you've done the sampling of the work on your live gigs. Overall, has that been a pretty good response, or is that
Oh yeah,
typical of the
yeah.
response you're getting on the whole thing?
Yeah. Oh, the response on the whole shebang is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
We sold, enough records to kind of, make the needle move a little bit. And uh, we had a like I don't want to put too much out there without because I don't really know the exact specifics yet, but we heard at first like, oh, we didn't sell enough records to make the chart because we're trying to do the Billboard Blues chart thing.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the legacy records, we were like, oh, now we have to compete with these legacy records. They're letting Etta James and Stevie Ray Vaughan be on
Mm-hmm.
the same chart as us regular guys. And so we didn't think that we sold enough records. Well, we found out this morning that we did. And
All right.
we got an email from Billboard that said, "Hey, you're going to be on the chart this week. Give us, such and such information, whatever." Uh, like,
Congratulations.
well, thank you, but it's all just about. I just want to get on the road again, man, and whatever it takes to do that is what I have to do because I haven't toured enough in my career, and it's really all I want to do. And it's not about money. It's about it being the lifeline. It's about being the reason that I exist. And the
Mm-hmm.
fact that I'm not doing it really stifles my soul. And
Mm-hmm.
and that's my number one goal. My number one goal is to bring this to people
Yeah.
and put it right in front of them. And then let them decide for themselves,
Yeah.
what's what. But um I know that I know that every time we go somewhere, they want us to come back. So,
Well,
so
good.
I'm hoping that that's all we can
Fantastic.
do. That's all we can hope for.
So
So,
to that point, right now you're plugging the record and doing that fun stuff to get the word out. Do you have an idea of what's next for you? I mean, you're wanting to tour. It sounds like it's not anything solidified yet. So what are the steps between here and there that you got
well,
lined up so far?
we're working on some things. I can't say too much just because of there's different things involved, but
Understood.
um, um, I'm gonna be recording more, putting out some more singles possibly and stuff. We may end up doing another record. We're gonna push this one for a little bit, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna record with Steve Morse from the Deep Purple and the Dixie
Yeah,
Dregs.
yeah, yeah.
So
Great guy.
I'm doing a song or two with Steve Morse and um you know I'm just we're just trying to move the needle, man. I got all kinds of people helping me behind the scenes right now. It's insane the the people that are just behind this, the people that believe in me. The people that truly believe that I'm one of the best that does it, and they want to help me
Mm-hmm.
get to that the level of just being able to be in the conversation. I'm not worried about taking anybody's thunder or
Mm-hmm.
being on something that somebody else could have been on or any of that. I just want to be in the conversation because it's my life. I
Yep.
dedicated my life to it too, you
Yeah.
know? And that's really all I'm trying to do. It's really all I'm looking for. I don't care about Blues Music Awards. I don't care about the main stage at Telluride and taking anybody's thunder. I don't care about none of that. I just want to have opportunity. I want to have the same opportunities as my peers that I watched grow up doing this. You know,
Hmm.
I mean, most of them were fans of mine coming up. Allie
Hmm.
Venable's my fan. I played her 18th birthday party. They
Wow,
hired my
she's
band.
phenomenal.
Oh, she's great. Yeah. Chris Stone Ingram used to come see me play before he ever played music festivals. So
Really?
I mean,
Wow.
yeah. So I mean, he'll tell you
Now
to
he's
this
in the
day.
movies.
Well, exactly. Well, he'll tell you who played Empty Promises first. Now, I've been playing
Hmm.
Empty Promises for way longer than he ever did, and then he
Wow.
ended up recording it, getting a Grammy on that record. And I told him on the Blues Cruise at the end of last year, I said, "Hey man," I said, "I recorded Empty Promises." He goes, "I know." He goes, "It's about time. You've been doing it longer than me." You know? So I mean, it's like, yeah. But that's one of my favorite songs. Michael Burks is my hero. So
Yeah.
anytime I can pay homage or honor him, he's the guy. He was the first one where like I went to the little festival when I was a kid, and they had the Blues Society table set up and it's like, oh, all excited, and when I walked up there they said, "Hey young man," they had a stack of CDs, a bunch of different artists, and they said, "Pick a CD, take one off the stack." And I got Michael Burke's "I Smell Smoke," and my life changed, I was never the
Wow.
same.
Well,
So
maybe you can. Maybe the Dallas International Guitar Festival would be a good venue for you too. Everybody shows up for that.
I
It's
played it 5 years in a row. I don't know why I'm not
seriously.
on it. Yeah, well, at least four. I don't know why I'm not on it this year, but Jimmy didn't reach out to me this year, but I was on it. Like I said, at least 4 years in a row. I've been doing it. So
Oh well,
it happens.
that's where. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was just
Go
gonna
ahead.
say it happens during the same time as Jazz Fest, so sometimes it's difficult. But
Uh,
I usually try to play Jazz Fest the first weekend so that I'm able to do the guitar festival. Sorry.
there you
Go ahead.
go. Yeah. No problem. I started Boomerocity in Dallas. I'm in the Smoky Mountains now for now, and I loved going to that festival, man. Like I said, I'm not a musician. I don't even play, but just walking around, just hearing people talk, watching the shows. In fact, my theme song for Boomerocity, I don't know if you ever met him or know him or heard him, but is Quentin Hope. He and Andy Timmons are good friends. I used to live in the same neighborhood as Andy Timmons in McKinney.
Oh,
And so
nice.
my theme song is "Roll the Dice," and it's Quentin Hope. It's off of one of his earlier records, and so I'm all about the Dallas International Guitar Festival, and it's been far too long since I've been to one.
Yeah.
So
I love
maybe
Jimmy
maybe
Wallace.
this
He's
year.
such a nice guy. He's such a amazing, 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 just the sweetest human being of a guy, man, really,
Yep. Yeah, he really is. He really is, and he puts so much in to that whole thing that it
to
just.
everything. Just he puts so much into the guitar community and into the guitar scene as a whole, it just period.
Yep.
He really is a trooper, truly.
Yep. He really is. Well, Boogie, this was a lot of fun. You've got a new fan that's going to be following you all the time now.
Well,
And if you
thank
get
you.
out this way, maybe through one of the blues societies, or there's the Open Chord, which is a nice little intimate venue. There are possibilities here in East Tennessee for you. Songbirds down in Chattanooga. But if you get up this way, I'm going to watch your itinerary, and if you're going to be within spitting distance of me, I want to come see you.
Yeah,
And
please do.
and I look forward to doing a lot more interviews with you because you're going to be doing a lot more albums. You're going to get a lot more known, and I'm looking forward to watching your trajectory continue onward and upward.
Well,
So,
thank you, and I appreciate you having me. It's guys like you doing things just like this that help us get the word out there and spread the word, and we appreciate what you do for music and for the blues community and the guitar community and everything as a whole. So I want to say thank you for having me, and I look forward to doing it again.
All right. The pleasure's all mine, and my door's always open to you, my friend. So until next time, stay safe and healthy, okay?
You too. Thank you.
All right, man. Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
You too.
This has been another fun-filled episode of Boomerocity with your host and producer, Randy Patterson. The theme song is Roll the Dice and is recorded and used by permission from Quinton Hope. Quinton is spelled Quinten, and Hope is Hope. And you can find out more about Quinton at quintonhope.com. Post-production is done by Cardinal Sins Productions. The Boomerocity name, logo, and content is copyright protected. Segments may only be used with written permission by Boomerocity and or its assignees. Inquiries should be directed to input@boomerocity.com. Copyright 2025.